Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series where we're working through the ABRSM Theory Grades. There are lots of resources available to help you on my website. If you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets. You can download those in US letter or A4 and they accompany each step of this series. There's also a page there with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and you can access information about the books I have available. I've written an exam technique guide, how to take your ABRSM Music Theory Exam. It's full of tips and techniques on how to best prepare for your exam and also how to best make use of the time when you're in the exam room working through your paper on exam day. So if you visit sharonbill.com, you'll find it's all there. If you can give me a like, that'd be really great, and subscribe to my channel to keep updated. And now we're going to press on and have a look at the second paper. So we're looking at paper B of the 2015 past papers. So if we turn to page 6, and we'll make a start. Now, if you remember, I've mentioned in the previous paper, this is no longer the format of the exam papers. From 2018 onwards, the paper will look slightly different, and there are a couple of exceptions in the questions, which we'll talk about as we approach them. However, it's still excellent revision to work through these papers. It's still really valuable revision time in working through these past papers, and so we'll still make good use of them to prepare for the exam from 2018 onwards. And so I always suggest you have a go of this yourself first. It doesn't matter if you go wrong. It's always better to learn by your mistakes. You're always writing in pencil, nice sharp pencil, and an eraser. I use a mechanical pencil just so it stays nice and sharp, and you will also benefit from using a ruler as well to keep everything neat and tidy. So I'm hoping you've had a go of this, and so we'll work through the first 3 questions together now. So question 1 asks us to add the missing bar line to these 2 melodies. So there are 2 separate time signatures which will require different counting for the bar lines. They've given us the first bar each time, so we've just got to count carefully. So this first question has 3 quarter notes, 3 crotchet beats per bar. We know that a minimum or a half note is worth 2 crotchet beats, 2 quarter notes, and then half as much again gives us another one, so we know that's a 3-beat note. And so let's carry on. Here we have another 1, 2, 3. So we need a bar line. Then we've got 1 beat here, and the dot makes half as long again, so we've got 1.5 beats here. We've got a half a beat here, so far that adds up to 2. And then we've got a 1 beat here, so that is our 3, so our bar line will go there. 1, 2, 3, there's another bar line, and we're left with a 3-beat note in this final bar, so we know we've not gone wrong. Let's look at the next one. So now we're adding up to 2 crochet beats, 2 quarter notes per bar, so we know that that's worth 2, so there's our first bar. Now these are worth half a beat each, so a half plus a half gives us 1 beat, a half plus a half gives us another beat, and there's our 1, 2 beats, and so bar line. A half plus a half gives us 1 beat, and then 4 quarters gives us another beat. And here, if you find it difficult just holding the maths in your head, if you just imagine we've got a whole beat and we divide it into halves and quarters, we can see half and a half gives us a beat, and 4 quarters gives us a beat. So 1, 2, there's our bar line. And don't forget, rests are still needing to be counted. We've got 1 beat here as a note, 1 beat here as a rest. There's our 2 beats in the final bar, and so we know we've not gone wrong. That's that. Now the next question is the 2-bar answering rhythm, which we no longer need to do in the exam paper. That's no longer part of the exam in the newly revised exam paper, so we can give that a miss. If you want to have a go of that in your music theory and practice workbook, by all means do so. It's a good exercise in making sure you get the correct number of beats per bar and also how to properly group those beats. However, for exam purposes, that's no longer on the paper, so we're just going to skip that and press on to question 3. So if you haven't tried this already, if you want to just listen to the first few steps as I'm explaining how to approach it, and then you can press pause and try this on your own. Alternatively, you can just press pause and go for it and then re-access into the video once you've had a go. So let's work through this together now. We need to write a semi-breves or whole note, so that means we don't have to bother with stems. The scale's name below, so we've got to sort of write the blobs as semi-breves. That's the first part of the question. And here it's asking for a key signature appropriate to the scale named, and we just need to make sure we're going in the right direction. We're descending, we need to be coming down. So we need to start on a high note and work our way down. So although I've marked this as number 2, the second part that they've asked is I'm going to do the key signature first because it comes first in the music. So G major has a key signature of F sharps, which is this top line. So just be careful you position that. And so we know that the notes are every good boy deserves football. If that's an F, G is the next note up. So I'm going to start on that high G. And then so long as we go space, line, space, line, space, line, space, line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Every good. I've begun and ended on G. I've got all the steps in between, and so I know that's correct. So the next one, we're in the bass clef now. So we need to write F major ascending going up. So the key signature for F major is B flat. So it's good boys. Here there's the B flat position in the bass clef. And now we need to start on a low F so that we can work our way up without needing to fall into ledger line territory. So we know that this goes good boys deserve. So if that's a G, one below G is F. So there's our starting point. And so we need space, line, space, line, space, line, space, line. Good boys deserve football. We've begun and ended on F. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got all the steps in between, so that's correct. That's the end of that question. So let's turn over the page. So if you turn with me to page 7 now, we'll have a look at question 4. So question 4 asks us to add a rest at the places marked with this little star to make each bar complete. Notice there are 2 separate time signatures, so we just need to watch out it changes. We've got 2 separate questions here. This is the symbol for common time, which means 4/4, so we're counting 4 crotchet beats, 4 quarter notes per bar. We've got 1, 2, 3 crotchet beats or 3 quarter notes so far. We're 1 missing, and so a crotchet beat or a quarter note rest is that. And let's look at the next one here. We've got 2 beats here. We're 2 beats missing. We don't want 2 separate crotchet beat rests. That would be incorrect. If you remember the rule, as long as you're not going over the middle of the line, we use a 2 beat rest. We use a minim beat rest there. So that's that one completed. Got some smaller maths divisions in this next one, and so this is another example of where if you find it difficult just holding lots of quarter beats and half beats in your brain, I'm not great at maths and numbers, so I always visualise there's my whole beat divided into halves and quarters. And so let's look what we've got here. So we've got a half and a half, that makes 1. We've got a half a beat here, and we've got a quarter of a beat here, so that leaves us with a quarter of a beat missing, and so we need the rest for a quarter of a beat here. There's your semi-quaver or 16th note rest to complete that bar. This one here, we've got a half and a half, which makes 1. We've got half a beat here, so we need another half a beat, and so that's our quaver or 8th note rest. Now here we've got a full bar's rest, so it wouldn't be accurate to just write a minim or a half note rest. Remember the rule for a full bar's rest regardless of the time signature, so although it's too big for this bar, we would still use the semi-breve or whole note rest which hangs down from the 4th line. So that's just the shorthand way of a full bar's rest regardless of the time signature. So to get full marks, that's what you would need. There we go. So that's the end of that question. We'll look at the next questions in the next video. I do hope that this is helpful to you. I hope that you enjoyed it. I'm certainly enjoying working through it with you. I suggest that you do make use of all of the information and resource that's available to you at sharonbale.com. Please do give me a like and subscribe to my channel to keep updated with what's in store. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.